Hello there. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock from the Greens has called on the British government to back down in the dispute with the EU over Brexit rules for Northern Ireland. I think there is a window of opportunity for a pragmatic solution right now, said Baerbock in a video message recorded on the government plane to the so-called Königswinter conference of the German-British Society in London. The Green politician called on London to implement the so-called Northern Ireland Protocol and to respond to the pragmatic EU proposal that is on the table, and I say for a long time. The dispute between Brussels and London over the so-called Northern Ireland Protocol is currently paralyzing the formation of a government in the northern part of the Emerald Isle. The protocol is part of the Brexit Treaty concluded at the end of 2019 and is intended to ensure that despite the British exit from the EU, between Northern Ireland and the EU Republic of Ireland, no border checks will be necessary. This is to prevent parts of the advocates of unification with Ireland from taking up arms again in the former Civil War region. Instead, however, a goods border has now emerged between Northern Ireland and the rest of the United Kingdom, which is opposed by parts of the population. But it's just a goods border, there are no checks of people. In her message, Baerbock also praised Britain's cooperation with Germany and other Western partners in the face of the Ukraine war. They have moved close together and together defend values such as freedom and democracy. And this also shows that the similarities are greater than the differences. Let's build on this solidarity, appealed the minister, who actually wanted to meet her British counterpart James Cleverly in London and take part in the conference. I talked about this in a video a few days ago. However, a sudden onset of winter in Dublin, where she was previously travelling, prevented the visit. In the Irish capital of Dublin, the Greens politician met with members of the Glencree Centre for Peace and Reconciliation. The facility played an important role in the negotiations that led to the 1998 Good Friday Agreement. At the time, it offered the parties to the conflict a confidential and neutral platform for discussion. The centre continues to moderate the dialogue between the former conflicting parties. In the north of the Emerald Isle in Northern Ireland, armed groups had fought a decades-long battle that cost the lives of thousands. The conflict ended in 1998 with the Good Friday Agreement. And as I said, Baerbock had to cancel her visit also to a German military cemetery because of the onset of winter. The onward journey to the British capital London was planned around noon, and there Baerbock wanted to meet her British colleague James Cleverly, and that was against the background of the Russian war against Ukraine. At the first meeting, as part of the German-British strategic dialogue agreed in mid-2021, the future of youth and study exchange between the two countries in Brexit times will be discussed in addition to the situation in Ukraine, but without Baerbock. The strategy dialogue was founded in order to maintain a close connection and concrete cooperation with Great Britain as an important partner after Brexit. As you all know, that was the country's exit from the European Union in 2020. At the airport in the Irish capital, Baerbock and her delegation had to wait 4.5 hours for departure on Friday after the onset of winter because the government Airbus had to be de-iced. So in the evening, they went directly back to Berlin instead of London. So that means ice and snow have now prevented her from standing on the stage with her counterpart in London, and that was regretfully said by Baerbock in her message. However, the relationship between Germany and Great Britain would by no means be that frosty. Rather, they want to strengthen the partnership and sign an agreement for closer civil society exchange between the two countries as soon as possible. This should actually have taken place on Friday. Baerbock's visit to London has been postponed for the third time now. The first appointment fell victim to the British government crisis surrounding the resignation of then Prime Minister Boris Johnson in the summer. The strategy dialogue had to be postponed a second time due to the death of Queen Elizabeth II in September. And Usually we say all good things are three, but even on the third time it didn't happen. So they met here in my hometown of Münster on the G7 meeting of the foreign ministers. So they at least met in person. But I'm curious when it will work, that she will ever arrive in London. Or was there some sabotage because they don't want her there? I don't know. I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.